Okay, so welcome to the 6WT, amazing race for the second time, which is ideally the better one. As we get better and better at these transformations, we really try hard to keep things interesting, keep things within the boundaries of what the transformation should mean. Basically, with all of our team and the background that we have with making sure that we are doing things with health in mind, with fun in mind, and making sure that we're really sticking with the basics. So that's super important. Our main mission is to transform, and we typically would have on the slideshow here, but transformation is to make a thorough or dramatic change in the form, appearance of, or character. So this isn't only about what your body looks like. This is going to be a drastic change to how you feel. And the more that you can stick with the basics and really try hard to not step over dime or step over $100 bills to pick up dimes, the more that we can really hone in on just super simple, basic habits and consistency, the more you'll notice that this is going to make you feel better. And then change is going to be inevitable. So you're going to feel and look like you want to look just automatically. And that's just a nice byproduct of it. So let's stick with the basics first. So number one is most of the time I'll get the question, do the calories matter or do the macros matter? So for those of you who aren't sure what macros are, those are macronutrients. Those are the nutrients, the main nutrients that are involved in food. And that's going to be proteins, carbohydrates, and fats. Now, they all play different roles. They're all very important, but the number one most important macronutrient in this transformation is going to be protein. And you'll notice if you've not done this transformation before that you're probably under eating your protein. There's a number of different sources where we can get protein. The highest quality protein is always going to be from animal sources. But if you're someone who doesn't choose to eat animal sources, we do have other options that you can use to get your protein in. You may just have to use a little bit more supplemental help. So when we're talking about proteins, we're talking about beef, chicken, eggs, egg whites, Greek yogurt, cottage cheese. There's a number of things. And like I said, in the book too, you will notice that we've kind of listed a few things in there for you to check out and kind of use as a guide if you're at the grocery store or if you just need maybe a little bit of help remembering what is a protein dense food. There's a lot of foods out there that claim to be protein dense, but are not. So feel free if there's something that you aren't sure about. If you're wondering what category it falls under, just ask your coach. On that note, everyone is going to be split up with a coach helping them along the way. But I will be sending out myself individual messages to make sure that you get that extra support that you might need. So again, there's going to be kind of a lot of different foods that you're going to be able to use for that protein to make sure that you're getting the basics of the protein in your diet. So next is going to be carbohydrates. What we're going to focus on for the challenge is going to be foods like vegetables, fruits, things that are single ingredient foods. So anything, those are going to make you feel the best. Anything that is in a package, we're going to try to avoid. We're going to do our very best to avoid because our bodies are not made to take those calories in and do much with them. They tend to be empty calories. They tend to be things that might fill you up in the moment, but might not keep you full for the long term. But if you're really conscious of the foods that you're choosing for your to fill your macros, and you're really trying hard to stay with the foods that really work best with your body, those are going to be your best carbohydrates. So again, I'll send out a list for your grocery shopping needs. in case you're not sure, again, of what category your carbs would fall under. Next is going to be fats. So fats are super healthy for you. We do not believe in fad diets. We do not believe in excluding any type of macronutrient. You guys will all have some sort of breakdown of your macronutrients based off of the number that you sent in the form. Number one, if you haven't sent the form in, that asks you a bunch of questions. For instance, your age, your height, your activity level. Make sure you look for it in the group chat, and it will bring you to a link, and then you can fill it all out. Oh, it looks like there's someone waiting to get in here. One second, talk amongst yourselves. Here we are. Okay, I got it, Austin. Okay, so like I said, we're not doing fads here. We're doing all of the best nutrients breakdowns for your body type, your activity level. So you will have a portion of fats, you'll have a portion of carbs, and you'll have a portion of protein. That's going to be directly related to those answers. So do your very best to answer it properly, and take your time with it. That being said, there are certain foods that, like I was talking about, especially for people who might not eat animal foods. So you may want to use things like protein powders, and I have a lot of suggestions for that in terms of like what you should and should not be taking in when it comes to something that is in a package, which would be a supplement. We do work with Canadian Protein, and we do have a discount code for everyone involved. And in the book that we sent out, Nikki sent it out today, you'll find some suggestions on maybe some supplements you might want to add to your repertoire. Okay, so whether it's protein powder or creatine or some multivitamins, I can help you with that if there's something specific you want to know about. But again, I think that if you're really trying to find your best self, whether it's through the way that you feel or the way that you look, supplements are supplemental to a whole foods diet. So using supplements can be helpful, but we're really trying, if you can fill your macronutrients with real food, you are going to kill it on this transformation. All right, let's keep moving along here. Okay, so I'm going to give you a few tips for your weigh-ins and your weigh-outs. Ideally, you may want to weigh in around the same time as you weigh out. If that's not possible because of the timing that we have in the gym, there's a lot of other things that you can do to really emphasize the best scenario. So after you wake up, not after you drink a whole bunch of water, not directly after a meal, I would say at least 2 hours after a meal. At least 2 hours after exercise or sauna, at least 2 hours after consuming alcohol. And when you come in, you have to wear something that shows your body. So you don't have to wear just a bra and underwear, or then you don't have to wear just your underwear. But I would wear something that at least shows my form if I don't want to wear something that shows maybe my midsection. Or, you want to show your legs, you want to show your glutes, you want to show your back, because if you've ever seen any of our transformation photos before, you'll know that the biggest changes are going to happen in those places. And I promise you, we don't use your photos unless you allow us to. And we only use those, like if I'm your coach, I'm the only one who's seeing those. So it's not something that's widely available. It's going on your app. It's your information. It belongs to you. So try to wear something that is at least going to show your silhouette. We have some times up already for those weigh-ins. So that's another housekeeping point. If you haven't signed up yet, please take a look at Wellness and sign in for a slot. We've got different times for Windsor, Kingsville, and Amherstburg, and there are different days as well. Okay, so those of you who have your Garage Gym app. The main page that you pull up when you open our app is going to show you a number of things. So if you've been using it, it's going to say like to do today, things to do today. And it's going to have your workout. It's going to have, eventually, it will have your macros on there. It will have a meal plan as well. And I'll kind of give you an idea of where to find those things. If you want to kind of jot that down, that would probably be a good idea if you've not used this before. So main screen of the Garage Gym app, that's the one that you're going to use to track your habits. That's what you're going to use to track your food. And that's what you're going to use for your photos. And it's going to also have like the workout of the day. So you're going to track that with your weights. So if you are looking to track food, you're going to go to the bottom right side of your screen and you're going to see a plus sign. You're going to hit the plus sign and it's going to bring up like a menu and it'll say different things. So it'll say like your workout, your adding an activity, and then you can add some food, log food. If you're going to use the meal plan that's going to be on your app, you don't go to that plus sign. You're going to go to just the bottom part of your screen and you'll see a fork and a knife icon. That's what you will click on and it'll bring your meal plan up. The meal plans are awesome. And a few people that used them almost for everything for their whole transformation did incredible. So if you are someone who is very unsure about making your own meals and snacks, I would recommend trying that at least for a few days to get some understanding of what your plate should look like. You're going to have I typically put 2 days of meals on your app, but this time I'm going to add a day. So you're going to get 3 full days of food. There's tons of meals that you can swap out. So if you go into one and you're like, oh, I don't really like pork, then you can hit the swap button. It kind of looks like a circular arrow, and it will take you to a whole bunch of different meals that you can use that kind of tickle your fancy. So it's awesome. The meal plans are really cool. And I suggest at the very least, even if you just look at them to get a little bit of inspiration, that's a great idea. I also think that with the meal plans, the nice feature is that you don't have to log anything. You just click that meal and it'll say ate this today. You click that button and it enters your macros into the app automatically. So if I used my meal plan all day today for all my meals, it would automatically sync to exactly what I should have for the day. So like that's kind of a nice perk to have too, because then you aren't messing around with portion sizes. The only time you'd be messing around with portion sizes would be when you are actually measuring the ingredients out. So just kind of a nice to know. So how to create our meals. Once you get your numbers, you're going to take a look at kind of like these numbers. It's going to be broken up into the proteins, carbs, and fats. The best way, the easiest way to start is to break your meals into 3 or 4. So if you're going to take your total number of each of those macros, you're going to break it up into 3 or 4 evenly split numbers, and then that's going to be your meal. So you're going to have a number that's going to go across the board for all of your macros, and it's going to look the same, ideally. You're going to choose foods that are whole foods. So the easiest way is to choose single ingredient foods. So let's say I'm going to choose beef for my protein. I'm going to use broccoli for my carb. And then with my fat, so beef is probably going to have some fat in it. But if I need a little boost of that, then maybe I'll add something like some olive oil or maybe some cheese or something like that to kind of round it out. You will notice that it is not hard to fill your fats. Most people, I would say. So trying to get your fat from natural sources, from the sources that they come from naturally, like eggs, like beef, like Greek yogurt that has fat in it, something like that, like cheese, those are going to be your best options instead of always kind of just trying to add things to your meals. That's going to be the best way to start. And then once you have your numbers kind of under control and you understand how to build your meals, then you can play around and experiment. And if you've been around for a long time and you've done these a few times, these transformations a few times, then you'll probably be able to kind of get right in there and adjust your flavors, easy peasy. All right. There is a barcode scanner. So just like MyFitnessPal, we don't use MyFitnessPal. We use the app that's within the Garage Gym app. It's a great nutrition app. It's very similar. You can use either the search bar at the top to write in, cooked ground beef, or to write in steamed vegetables, or you can use the scanner and you can scan the container. So let's say you're going to have some cottage cheese, you can use it to scan the barcode and then adjust your amounts based off of what you're going to have. A few kind of tips and tricks here. So let's kind of go over a few things first, and then I'll talk about certain things that people typically ask here, and then we can open it up for some questions. So remember, for the transformation, we're really trying to dive into as many of the pillars of health as possible. So we're not just focused on one thing. We're not just coming in and killing the gym portion, but not paying attention to the food, not paying attention to the water, not paying attention to the other things. We want to find a nice balance between all of the pillars of health. So like nutrition, movement, stress control, tribe or social aspects. So making sure that we're still kind of making those friendships, but then maintaining friendships within and outside of the gym. That's a very important one to kind of make sure that we keep all of our health in order. And sleep, super important. You'll hear me talk about it a lot. The time that muscle is built is not in the gym, it's during sleep. So you'll hear us talk about that a lot, and about recovery as well. The book that Nikki sent out is full of tips and tricks. It talks a lot about the basics, and we don't repeat ourselves a lot when it comes to the basics unless we think it's really important, because it is. So let's talk about a few things that I would say are the best things to nail during this transformation. Number one, preparation. So preparation is by far what most people struggle with. What can I do that's going to help my preparation? So making appointments and signing up for wellness classes is going to be a very important thing. So treat it like an appointment. Treat your gym time as if like, this is what I do at this time. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. This is what I do. This is what I've committed to, and I'm sticking with it. Making appointments or writing down in your planner that you're saving some time for grocery shopping, but you're also saving some time for preparing the food and making sure that you have enough time to kind of fill your fridge with convenience foods. That's going to be super important. Batch cooking. So if you're going to cook large portions so that you don't have to feel like you're cooking all the time, that's going to get really old really fast. So what I would do is I would get a big, plate of chicken. I'm going to cook it all at once. It's going to last me for several meals. And then that way I can feel like I can just kind of throw things together, especially if I'm going to be bringing food to work or school or whatever. Using things like a crock pot or an air fryer, or using the barbecue, cooking things in different ways. That's going to be helpful so that you don't get sick of foods and the flavors, but also so that you can maybe turn the crock pot on and then things will be ready for you when you get home. Or using the air fryer because it's faster. Another tip that you might want to think about and write down is make sure that you're measuring your food cooked and log it that way. So a lot of times when it comes to apps that you're recording food in or tracking food in, you will notice that it's going to be something that would be like if you had a pack of chicken from the store, from the butcher, that's going to be how it's weighed. Put it, cook it all, weigh it, and then put that amount in, and then you put cooked chicken breast, oven roasted chicken breast, cooked ground beef, so that the computer knows that you're measuring it cooked and not raw. Be very specific. So being specific like that, write down how it was cooked, right? Make sure that, because if you put something where it would be potentially cooked with a fat, it may add a little bit of extra fat in there. But again, like, where should, like, are we in the weeds on this? Are we doing the basics? Just do your very best. If you have a question, ask your coach. One really great hack is putting protein and blending it with your coffee. So for those of you who either work out really early in the morning or work shift work or maybe work in a car, okay, I used to work shift work, so I know how that feels. We want to look for hacks like that. So if you need to use protein powder in your coffee, this is an excellent way and an easy way to add some flavor to your coffee and not worry too much about like having your trying to fill yourself before you come to the gym or maybe between the gym and work. All right, we've got about 10 minutes here. So I'm almost done here and then we can open it up. Should I focus on calories or macros? So we went over that. You are going to focus on macros. Calories are going to be what kind of like shows you what you're taking in an overall sense, but macros are going to make your body transform. Because if you only eat, for instance, if you ever did Weight Watchers, they are a really good program for beginners, for people who have absolutely no idea what to do when it comes to nutrition. But it's not going to potentially do what you want it to do as someone who is an athlete in the gym. So what we want to do is we want to build muscle, maintain muscle, lose fat. And the only way you're going to do that is to make sure that you're optimizing your proteins, your fats, and your carbs. And last but not least, should I eat all of the macros that I have in my meal plan, even if I'm not hungry? So ideally, yes. If you were going to do the things that you have been doing and have not really been having any success, then you need to do something different. And that might mean that you're going to eat more food than you would ever thought possible. I promise you that if you hit your macros and you use whole foods to do it, you are going to change drastically, but you have to trust the process. So I know it's hard to eat when you're not hungry, and we will talk about some strategies on what to do when that happens, but you have to try to hit all of the macros that are allotted to you on a daily basis. There's really, I think that's it. If anyone wants to kind of either come on here or put a question into the chat, you are free to do so. You can take yourself off mute if you have a question. And we should be done in a couple minutes. Let me keep an eye on the chat here. Okay, we still have some minutes left, so please feel free to put some messages in here or unmute yourself. So I do have one question. One question is talking about meal plans. Where do we find those? So once they're on your app, they will be on your app this weekend. You will look at your main screen of the Garage Gym app. You will look at the bottom of your screen and you'll see a fork and knife icon. Click on that and that will bring you to your meal plan. If you don't want to use the meal plan, if you just want to log your food and you've used MyFitnessPal before, it looked very similar to that, don't go on that one. just go to the plus sign and it will have a drop down menu that is where you're going to add your food. You're welcome. And the booklet that Nikki sent out is going to be super helpful. I encourage you all to read it over. I encourage you guys to check this video out again if you need any clarification, or you can totally reach out to me in the meantime. But like I said, you will have a coach that's helping you out, and I will be messaging you all individually as well in case you need just that extra support when it comes to your nutrition, when it comes to your training, and when it comes to all the other fun stuff for the amazing race. That will be on some other trainers' plates. So they will be the ones who you'll be reaching out to, and we can make sure that everyone is aware of that as well. We still have a few minutes, guys. Feel free to jump on, unmute yourself, jump into the chat. If you're wondering it, someone else is wondering it. So feel free to jump on. Or maybe even if someone's done the transformation before and they have a really good tip that I didn't hit on, feel free to help me out there because I don't always get all of the tips on these seminars. Yeah, I got your message, but it says they're in here. Okay. All right, guys. Well, don't forget the few things that you will need, and this is in the book as well. So if you don't have a food scale, make sure you go buy one. There's lots of options, either at Canadian Tire or Walmart, maybe even Dollar Store, I feel like Nikki said. Make sure you have some measuring spoons. Make sure that you have maybe some big baking sheets. Those are helpful as well. You don't need your meal plan to start preparing. So to start preparing, I would suggest making a list, writing down all of the proteins that you like, writing down all of the carbs that you like, and writing down all of the fats that you like, and then starting to grocery shop and start to prepare those foods so that you can kind of make a big batch and cook it up. And then you can always start to measure it once you get your numbers. The numbers part is pretty tricky for someone who's never done it before. And I can give you a little bit of help when that potentially arises. But there's a lot of great resources within the gym to help you as well. And it takes a little bit of time. So don't feel like if you don't get it within the first few days, just keep trying and keep making measurements. It can be a little bit tricky, but don't give up. Make sure you reach out to myself or one of the coaches if you find that you're really struggling, or if you find that you have absolutely no idea if you're struggling or not. That can happen too. All right. I don't have any more questions here. If this is your last chance, take yourself off mute if you would like to throw a question out there or even a helpful tip. All right. Well, thank you for attending. I hope you guys take a look at a few things ahead of time. Reach out if you have any questions. We are all here to help you succeed, and we will see you in the amazing race. I can't wait